Hello everyone, welcome to Literature Insights. I hope you all are doing well. The dates of UGC NET re-exam have been announced and I'm sure you must be wondering from where to start. So I have come up with a solution for you. In this video, we will be looking at 2024 June paper. In particular, the chronology part, because in the paper we got 20 chronology questions and we'll be covering all of them in this video. Question number 1. Arrange the following works in the order of their year of publication. The works are Orientalism, Black Skin, White Masks, Nation and Narration, The Location of Culture, and Decolonizing the Mind. Now let's discuss the answer. Orientalism. Orientalism is a work that is coming in the year 1978. It is written by Edward Said, in which Said is telling us about how the West is perceiving the East. For instance, the West considers itself as rational, masculine and powerful, whereas it is representing the East as exotic, feminine, weak and vulnerable. So it is about how the West is perceiving and interacting with the East. Now moving on to the next work. Black Skin, White Masks. It is coming in the year 1952. It is written by the Martinique writer Frantz Fanon. Then we have Nation and Narration. It is a 1990 work by Homi K. Bhabha. Then we have The Location of Culture, again by Homi K. Bhabha, coming in the year 1994. In The Location of Culture, Bhabha is using concepts like mimicry, interstice, hybridity and liminality to argue that cultural production is always most productive where it is most ambivalent. And the last work we have is Decolonizing the Mind. It is a 1986 work by the Kenyan novelist and post-colonial theorist Ngugi wa Thiong'o. The full title of the work is Decolonizing the Mind, The Politics of Language in African Literature. Decolonizing the Mind is split into 4 essays. The essays are The Language of African Literature, The Language of African Theatre, The Language of African Fiction, and The Quest for Relevance. Moreover, the book is Ngugi's Farewell to English and it addresses the language problem faced by African authors. Ngugi dedicated Decolonizing the Mind to all those who write in African languages and to all those who over the years have maintained the dignity of the literature, culture, philosophy and other treasures carried by the African languages. Let's move to the second question now. Here we have to arrange some movements in chronological order. The movements given to us are cultural studies, postmodernism, feminism, surrealism and reception theory. So let's discuss the answer to this question. Cultural studies is coming in the 1960s with the coming up of the Center for Contemporary Cultural Studies. Then we have postmodernism, which is coming in the 1970s. Then we have feminism, which came around 1848 with the Seneca Falls Convention. Then we have surrealism, which came around 1920s approximately. And then we have the reception theory, which came in the 1980s. So now let's arrange them in chronological order. First we have feminism, then we have surrealism, then we have cultural studies, after that we have postmodernism and then reception theory. Now moving on to the next question. In this question we have to arrange Girish Karnad's work in their chronological order. The works are Hayavadana, Nagmandala, Tughlaq, Yayati and Bali the Sacrifice. Let's talk about Girish Karnad first. He was born in 1938. He was an Indian actor, film director and Kannada writer. And most importantly, a Gyanpith awardee who predominantly worked in Kannada, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam and Marathi films. His rise as a playwright in the 1960s marked the coming of the age of modern Indian playwriting in Kannada, just as Badal Sarkar did in Bengali, Vijay Tendulkar did in Marathi and Mohan Rakesh in Hindi. He was a recipient of the Gyanpith Award, like I said, and he was also conferred Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan by the Government of India and won 4 Filmfare Awards. Karnad was also a presenter for a weekly science magazine program called Turning Point that aired on Doordarshan in 1991. Okay, so let's talk about Girish Karnad's works. His first play was Yayati, which was written in the year 1960 and it won the Mysore State Award in 1962. It is based on an episode in the Mahabharata where Yayati, one of the ancestors of the Pandavas, is given the curse of the premature old age by his father-in-law Shukracharya, who is incensed by Yayati's infidelity. Yayati could redeem this curse only if someone was willing to exchange his youth with him. It's finally his son Puru who offers to do this for his father. The next work by Karnad is Tughlaq, which is written originally in Kannada and later translated to English in the year 1977 by Karnad himself. Tughlaq was his dramatic portrayal on the Nehruvian era, which started with ambitious idealism and ended up in disillusionment, just like the 14th century ruler Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Karnad established his efficiency as a playwright in the nation through this piece. After that, he has written Hai Vadana, which is coming in the year 1971. This play is inspired from the 1940 Thomas Mann's novel The Transposed Heads, along with the infusion of the folk theatre of Yakshagana. After Hai Vadana, Karnad has written Nag Mandala, which is coming in the year 1988. Nag Mandala is the story of a young girl Rani, newly married to Apanna, and their gradual understanding of the role, function and responsibilities of the institution of marriage. This story is presented in the play by a woman narrator, a flame, which has come to tell the story. And this story, Nag Mandala, was inspired from a Kannada folklore which the writer heard from the poet A.K. Ramanujan. After that, we have Bali, the sacrifice, which was first brought out into Kannada in 1980 by the name of Hitina Hunja, but was not translated in English at that time. The source of the play is an ancient Kannada epic, Yashodhara Charit, which itself draws on several other sources. Okay, so the correct chronological order of Girish Karnad's works is: first is Yayati, coming in the year 1960. Then we have Tughlaq, coming in the year 1964. After that, we have Hai Vadana, coming in the year 1971. Then we have Bali, the sacrifice, coming in the year 1980. And after that, we have Nag Mandala, coming in the year 1988. Now moving on to the fourth question. What is the chronological sequence of the British poets in the order of their birth? The poets given to us are Andrew Marvell, John Milton, John Donne, Richard Lovelace and Thomas Carey. Let's discuss the answer. The first is Andrew Marvell. He was born in the year 1621. He was an English metaphysical poet. His famous works are To His Coy Mistress, Upon Appleton House and an Horatian ode upon Cromwell's return from Ireland, and another important work is The Garden. Next is John Milton, who was born in the year 1608 and he was an English poet, and his famous works are Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained, Lycidas and Samson Agonistes. Then we have John Donne, who was born in the year 1572. He is famous for his works like A Valediction Forbidding Mourning, The Good Morrow, The Canonization and Holy Sonnets, etc. Donne is also a metaphysical poet. Now let's talk about the other poet, Richard Lovelace. Richard Lovelace was born in 1617 and he was a Cavalier poet. His famous works are To Althea from Prison and To Lucasta Going to the Wars. After that we have Thomas Carey, who was born in the year 1595. He was also a Cavalier poet. He is best known for his work A Rapture. Now let's arrange the poets once again in the chronological order. The first one coming here is John Donne, who is coming in the year 1572. Then we have Thomas Carey coming in the year 1595. After that we have John Milton coming in the year 1608. Then we have Richard Lovelace coming in the year 1617. And after that we have Andrew Marvell coming in the year 1621. Now moving on to the next question. What is the correct chronological sequence of the following works in the order of their publication? The works are Arun Joshi's The Foreigner, Ved Mehta's Face to Face, Khushwant Singh's I Shall Not Hear the Nightingale Sing, Khwaja Ahmad Abbas's Inqilab, and G.V. Desani's All About H. Hatter. Let's talk about every writer and their work one by one. First is Arun Joshi's The Foreigner. So Arun Joshi is an Indian writer. He is known for his novels like The Strange Case of Billy Biswas and The Apprentice, and he has won the Sahitya Academy Award for his novel The Last Labyrinth in 1982. And The Foreigner is coming in the year 1968. It is Arun Joshi's first novel and it is talking about the character Cindy Oberoi. Then we have Ved Mehta's Face to Face. It is his autobiography which is coming in the year 1957. Then we have a novel by Khushwant Singh, I Shall Not Hear the Nightingale, which is coming in the year 1968. After that we have K. Abbas's Inqilab, which is coming in the year 1958. Then we have All About H. Hatter by G.V. Desani, which is coming in the year 1948. It is about the adventures of an Anglo-Malay man in search of wisdom and enlightenment. So, Arun Joshi's The Foreigner is coming in the year 1968. Ved Mehta's Face to Face, his autobiography, is coming in the year 1957. Khushwant Singh's novel I Shall Not Hear the Nightingale Sing is coming in the year 1968. Khwaja Ahmad Abbas's Inqilab is coming in the year 1958. And G.V. Desani's All About H. Hatter is coming in the year 1948. Moving on to the sixth question. What is the correct chronological sequence of Bhabani Bhattacharya in order of their publication? Here we have to organize Bhabani Bhattacharya's novels in their correct order. The novels given to us are A Goddess Named Gold, Music for Mohini, Shadow from Ladakh, So Many Hungers, He Who Rides a Tiger. So let's discuss the answer. A Goddess Named Gold is coming in the year 1967. Music for Mohini is coming in the year 1964. Shadow from Ladakh is coming in the year 1966. So Many Hungers is coming in the year 1947. And He Who Rides a Tiger is coming in the year 1955. And Bhabani Bhattacharya won the Sahitya Academy Award for his novel Shadow from Ladakh in 1967. Moving on to the next question. What is the correct chronological sequence of Amitav Ghosh in order of their publication? Here we have to organize Amitav Ghosh's work in their correct order. The works are The Hungry Tides, The Sea of Poppies, The Circle of Reason, The Shadow Lines, and The Calcutta Chromosome. The Hungry Tides is coming in the year 2004. The Sea of Poppies is coming in the year 2008. The Circle of Reason is coming in the year 1968. The Shadow Lines is coming in the year 1988. And The Calcutta Chromosome is coming in the year 1995. The Circle of Reason is the debut novel of Amitav Ghosh coming in the year 1986. Then he has also written an Ibis trilogy which includes the parts Sea of Poppies, River of Smoke and Flood of Fire. And he has also won the Sahitya Academy Award for his very famous novel The Shadow Lines, which is coming in the year 1988 but is getting the award in the year 1989. Moving on to the next question. Chronologically arrange the following texts in the order of their publication. The works given to us are Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique, Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex, Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own, Germaine Greer's The Female Eunuch, Adrienne Rich of Women Born. Let's discuss the answer to this question. Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique is coming in the year 1963. Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex is coming in the year 1949. Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own is coming in the year 1929. It is an extended essay by Virginia Woolf based on 2 lectures that she delivered at 2 different colleges. After that, we have Germaine Greer's The Female Eunuch, which is coming in the year 1970. And then Adrienne Rich of Women Born, which is coming in the year 1976. Its full title is Of Women Born, Motherhood as Experience and Institution. Moving on to the next question. Arrange the following films on disability concerns in the order of their year of release. We have some films here and all of them are dealing with some disability concerns. So let's talk about them. The films given to us are Pa, Iqbal, Fana, Khamoshi and Margarita with a Straw. Let's talk about them one by one. First is Pa, which is coming in the year 2009. It is the story of Oro, who is an intelligent and witty 13-year-old boy with an extremely rare genetic defect that causes accelerated aging. He lives with his mother Vidya, a gynecologist, and his father is a politician with a mission. Then we have Iqbal, which is coming in the year 2005. It is about a deaf and mute boy Iqbal who dreams of playing cricket for India but is discouraged by his father. Then we have Fana, which is coming in the year 2006, and it is about the life of Zuni, who is a visually impaired Kashmiri girl who falls in love with a tourist guide. Then we have Khamoshi, which is coming in the year 1996, and it is about a deaf couple in Goa who gives birth to a baby girl named Annie. And then we have Margarita with a Straw, which is coming in the year 2015 and is dealing with the disability of cerebral palsy. Now moving on to the last question of the day, question number 10. Choose the correct chronological order in which the following works were published. The works given to us are A Vicar of Wakefield, Life of Johnson, Johnson's Dictionary, Lives of the Poets, The Life of Nelson. Let's talk about the works one by one. First is A Vicar of Wakefield. A Vicar of Wakefield is subtitled A Tale supposed to be written by himself by the Irish writer Oliver Goldsmith, and it is coming in the year 1766. Then we have Life of Johnson. The Life of Samuel Johnson is coming in the year 1791. It is the biography of the English writer Samuel Johnson, written by the writer James Boswell. Then we have Johnson's Dictionary, or which is sometimes published as a Dictionary of the English Language. It was published in the year 1755 and is written by Samuel Johnson. Then we have Life of the Poets, which is also known as Lives of the Most Eminent English Poets. It is a work by Samuel Johnson which is coming in the year 1779, and it comprises of short biographies and critical appraisals of 52 poets. And then we have The Life of Nelson, which is an 1813 work, which is a work by Robert Southey coming in the year 1813. So question number 1. What is the correct chronological sequence of periods of American literature? Options are Early National Period, Naturalistic Period, Revolutionary Age, Realistic Age, and the Age of Transcendentalism. So before arranging them in the original order or the correct order, let's learn about the timeline of American literature. So first we have the colonial period, which is starting from 1607 and ending at 1775. This period encompasses the founding of Jamestown in 1607 up to a decade before the Revolutionary War. The major writers of this period are Phyllis Wheatley, Cotton Mather, William Bradford, Anne Bradstreet, and John Winthrop. Moving on to the next stage, the Revolutionary Age, which is starting at 1765 and ending at 1790. The Revolutionary Age is arguably the richest period of political writing, and this includes writers like Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, James Madison, and Alexander Hamilton. And it includes works like Declaration of Independence, the Federalist Papers, and the poetry of Philip Freneau. Moving on, we have the early national period, which is starting at 1775 and ending at 1828. The early national period is responsible for notable first works such as the first American comedy written for the stage, The Contrast by Royal Tyler, and the first American novel, The Power of Sympathy by William Hill. This also includes writers like Washington Irving, James Fenimore Cooper, and Charles Brogden Brown. Moving on, we have the American Renaissance, which is starting at 1828 and ending at 1865. The American Renaissance is also known as the Romantic period in America and the Age of Transcendentalism. This period is commonly accepted to be the greatest of American literature. Major writers include Walt Whitman, Emerson, Thoreau, Hawthorne, Edgar Allan Poe, Melville, etc. And then we have the realistic period, which is starting at 1865 and ending at 1900. In the realistic period, certain romantic notions of the American Renaissance were replaced by the realistic descriptions of American life, such as those represented in the works of William Dean Howells, Henry James, and Mark Twain. Moreover, this period also includes poets like Walt Whitman and Emily Dickinson. Moving on, we have the naturalistic period, which is starting at 1900 and ending at 1914. This relatively short period is defined by its insistence on recreating life as life really is, even more so than the realists had been doing in the decades before. American naturalist writers such as Frank Norris, Theodore Dreiser, and Jack London created some of the most powerfully raw novels in the American literary history. Their characters are victims who fall prey to their own base instincts and to economic and sociological factors. Edith Wharton wrote some of her most beloved classics such as The Custom of the Country, Ethan Frome, The House of Mirth during this time period. Moving on, we have the modern period, which is starting at 1914 and ending at 1939. After the American Renaissance, the modern period is the second most influential and artistically rich age of American writing. Its major writers include E. E. Cummings, Robert Frost, Ezra Pound, William Carlos Williams, Marianne Moore, Langston Hughes, John Dos Passos, Edith Wharton, Fitzgerald, Steinbeck, Ernest Hemingway, William Faulkner, etc. One important point about the modern age, the modern period contains within itself certain major movements like the Jazz Age, the Harlem Renaissance, and the Lost Generation. Moving on, we have the Beat Generation, which is starting at 1944 and ending at 1962. Beat writers such as Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg were devoted to anti-traditional literature in poetry and prose and anti-establishment politics. And at the last, we have the contemporary period. So, first we have the colonial period. After that, we have the revolutionary age, which is followed by the early national period. Then we have the American Renaissance. After that, we have the realistic period. After the realistic period, we have an intensified form of realism, which is the naturalistic period. Then we have modern period, which contains the Jazz Age, the Harlem Renaissance, and the Lost Generation. After that, we have the Beat Generation and then the contemporary period. So, according to the question, first we have the revolutionary age, which is followed by the early national period, then romantic period or the transcendentalism age, then we have the realistic age, and after that we have the naturalistic age. Moving on to the next question, arrange the following literary movements in their chronological order of their emergence. So the movements given to us are Imagism, Impressionism, Absurdism, Futurism, and Pre-Raphaelitism. Let's discuss the answer to this question now. The Pre-Raphaelitism movement is coming in 1848 with the coming up of Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. The Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood was a group of English painters, poets, and art critics founded in 1848 by William Holman Hunt, John Everett Millais, Dante Gabriel Rossetti, William Michael Rossetti, James Collinson, Frederick George Stephens, and Thomas Woolner, who formed a 7-member brotherhood. Then we have Impressionism. Impressionism describes a style of painting developed in France during the mid to late 19th century. Characterizations of the style include small visible brush strokes that offer the bare impression of form, unblended color, emphasis on the accurate depiction of natural light. The founding Impressionist artists include Claude Monet, Camille Pissarro, Alfred Sisley, and Edgar Degas. Next up we have is Futurism. Futurism was an Italian art movement of the early 20th century that aimed to capture in art the dynamism and energy of the modern world. Futurism was launched by the Italian poet Filippo Tommaso Marinetti in 1909 with his Manifesto of Futurism. Next up we have is Imagism, which is also an early 20th century movement. It is an English language modernist group founded in 1914 that poetry based on description rather than theme, and on the motto, the natural object is always the adequate symbol. The members associated with it are Ezra Pound, Hilda Doolittle, and Richard Eldington. And then we have the Absurdism movement. The Absurdist movement is derived in the 1950s from the Absurdist philosophy, which argues that life is inherently purposeless and questions truth and value. Moving on to the third question. What is the chronological sequence of the following Dalit women writers in order of their birth? The writers are Urmila Pawar, Bama, Meena Kandasamy, Gogo Shyamla, and Kumud Pavade. Let's discuss the answer to this question. First writer is Kumud Pavade, who was born in 1938. Kumud Pavade is an Indian Dalit activist. She is the first Ambedkarite scholar of Sanskrit. Her autobiography, Antasport, discusses the issue of exploitation of Dalit women. She is a founder member of the National Federation of Dalit Women. So remember her autobiography, Antasport. Next up we have is Urmila Pawar, who was born in 1945. Urmila Pawar is also an Indian writer and activist in the Dalit and feminist movements in India, and her works are written in the Marathi language. She is famous for her short stories, Kavach and A Childhood Tale. Pawar's autobiography is titled Aidan, which means weave. Her autobiography was later translated into English by Maya Pandit and released under the title The Weave of My Life, a Dalit Woman's Memoirs. And Vandana Sonalkar has written the foreword for the book. Next writer we have is Bama. Bama was born in the year 1958. She is a Tamil Dalit feminist, teacher and novelist. Her autobiographical novel Karukku, which is coming in the year 1992, chronicles the joys and sorrows experienced by Dalit Christian women in Tamil Nadu. She wrote 2 more novels, Sangati and Vanmam. Bama has also written 3 collections of short stories, which are Kusumbakaram, Oru Tattvam Erumayam, and Kandadatam. Next writer we have is Gogo Shyamla. Gogo Shyamla was born in the year 1969. She is a Telugu language writer and women activist and a prominent Dalit. Her famous work is Father May Be an Elephant and Mother Only a Small Basket. Next up we have is Meena Kandasamy. She was born in the year 1984 and her notable works include The Orders Were to Rape You, Miss Militancy, Touch, This Poem Will Provoke You, We Are Not the Citizens, The Gypsy Goddess, When I Hit You, or The Portrait of the Writer as a Young Wife, etc. So, first we have is Kumud Pavade coming in the year 1938. Then we have Urmila Pawar coming in the year 1945. After that we have Bama coming in the year 1958. Then Gogu Shyamla coming in the year 1969. And then Meena Kandasamy coming in the year 1984. Moving on to the fourth question. What is the correct chronological order of the following Indian writers in order of their birth? The writers are Manohar Malgonkar, Mulk Raj Anand, Toru Dutt, Khushwant Singh, Michael Madhusudan Dutt. Let's discuss the answer to this question. The first writer in the serial order is Michael Madhusudan Dutt. He was born in the year 1824. He was a Bengali poet and playwright and is famous for the works King Porus, The Captive Lady, Padmavati, Krishna Kumari, etc. Next up in the list we have is Toru Dutt. Tarulata Datta, popularly known as Toru Dutt, was an Indian Bengali poet and translator from British India who wrote in English and French. She was born in 1856. She is among the founding figures of Indo-Anglian literature alongside Henry Derozio, Manmohan Ghosh and Sarojini Naidu. She is known for her volumes of poetry in English like Sita, A Sheaf Gleaned in the French Fields, and Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan. And Dutt died at the age of 21 because of tuberculosis. Next writer we have is Mulk Raj Anand. He was born in the year 1905 and he was an Indian writer in English recognized for his depiction of the lives of the poorer classes in the traditional Indian society. He became known for his protest novel Untouchable, which came in the year 1935, which was followed by other works on the Indian poor such as Coolie, which came in the year 1936, and Two Leaves and a Bud, which came in the year 1937. He is also noted for being among the first writers to incorporate Punjabi and Hindustani idioms into English and was a recipient of the civilian honor of the Padma Bhushan. Next up in the serial order is Manohar Malgonkar. He was born in the year 1913. He was an Indian author of both fiction and non-fiction in the English language. He was also an army officer, a big game hunter, a civil servant, a mine owner, and a farmer. His notable works are The Sea Hawk, Distant Drum, A Combat of Shadows, and A Bend in the Ganges. He has written many other works of course, but these were some of his famous works. Moving on we have is Khushwant Singh. He was born in the year 1915. He was an Indian author, lawyer, journalist and politician. His famous novel was Train to Pakistan, and he has also written a short story titled The Portrait of a Lady. So the first writer we have is Michael Madhusudan Dutt, born in the year 1824. Toru Dutt, born in the year 1856. Mulk Raj Anand, born in the year 1905. Manohar Malgonkar, born in the year 1913. And Khushwant Singh, born in the year 1915. Let's move on to the next question now. Question number 5. Arrange the following American poets in the order of their birth. The poets are Emily Dickinson, Emerson, Frost, Thoreau, Whitman. So let's discuss the answer to this question. The first writer is Ralph Waldo Emerson. He was born in the year 1803. He was an American essayist, lecturer, philosopher, abolitionist and poet who led the Transcendentalist movement of the mid-19th century. He is very famous for his 1836 essay, Nature. Following this work, he gave a speech entitled The American Scholar in 1837, which Oliver Holmes Sr. considered to be America's intellectual declaration of independence. Emerson wrote most of his important essays as lectures first and then revised them for print. His other most important essays are Self-Reliance, The Oversoul, Circles, The Poet, and Experience. Next up we have is Henry David Thoreau. He was an American naturalist, essayist, poet and philosopher. He was also a leading transcendentalist and is very famous for his book Walden and his essay Civil Disobedience. He was born in the year 1817. Next up we have is Walt Whitman. He was born in the year 1819 and he is known for his work Leaves of Grass, which came in the year 1855, and Drum Taps, which came in the year 1865. Next up we have is Emily Dickinson. She was born in the year 1830. Emily Dickinson has written a lot of poems. Some of her poems are I Taste a Liquor Never Brewed, Success is Counted Sweetest, Wild Nights, Wild Nights, I Felt a Funeral in My Brain, I Am Nobody, Who Are You, Hope is the Thing with Feathers, A Bird Came Down the Walk, Because I Could Not Stop for Death, My Life Has Stood a Loaded Gun, Tell All the Truth but Tell It Slant. So these are some of our famous poems. So first we have is Emerson, born in the year 1803, then Thoreau, born in the year 1817, after that we have Whitman, 1819, then Emily Dickinson, 1830. Next up we have is Robert Frost. He was born in the year 1874. Frost is the only poet to receive 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. He received his first Pulitzer Prize for New Hampshire in 1924. Other of his Pulitzer Prize winners included Collected Poems, which came in the year 1931, A Further Range, which came in the year 1937, and A Witness Tree, which came in the year 1943. So, first we have is Emerson, who was born in the year 1803, then Henry David Thoreau, which was born in the year 1817, then we have Walt Whitman, who was born in the year 1819, then we have Emily Dickinson, who was born in the year 1830, and then Robert Frost, born in the year 1874. Moving on to the 6th question. What is the correct sequence of 5 stages of action in order of occurrence as described by Dhananjay in Dasroop? The options are Pryatyasha, prospect of success, Arambh, beginning, Niyatapati, certainty of success, Yatna, effort, Falgama, attainment of the result. Here, first we have is beginning, that is Arambh. Then we have effort, that is Prayatan. Then we have the prospect of success, that is Praptayasha. Then we have certainty of success, that is Niyatapati. Then we have attainment of result, that is Falgama. First Arambh, then Prayatan, then Praptayasha, then Niyatapati, then Falgama. Moving on to the next question. What is the correct chronological sequence of the following books of D.H. Lawrence? Lady Chatterley's Lover, Sons and Lovers, The White Peacock, The Rainbow, The Plumed Serpent. The answer to this question is the first novel is The White Peacock, which is coming in the year 1911. Then Sons and Lovers coming in the year 1913, followed by Rainbow coming in the year 1915. The Rainbow has a sequel to it which is known as Women in Love. Then we have The Plumed Serpent, which is coming in the year 1926. And then we have Lady Chatterley's Lover, which is his last novel and coming in the year 1928. Moving to question number 8. What is the correct sequence of the various periods of English literature? Caroline Age, Jacobean Age, Restoration Age, Commonwealth period, and Augustan Age. Let's discuss the answer to this question, but first let's look at the timeline of British literature. First, we have the Old English period or the Anglo-Saxon period. Then we have the Middle English period. Then we have the Renaissance, and the Renaissance is subdivided into 4 parts, which includes the Elizabethan age from 1558 to 1603. Then we have the Jacobean age from 1603 to 1625. Then we have the Caroline age from 1625 to 1649, and then the Commonwealth period from 1649 to 1660. Moving on, we have the Neoclassical period, which is also subdivided into ages, including the Restoration from 1660 to 1700, then the Augustan age from 1700 to 1745, and then the Age of Sensibility from 1745 to 1785. Moving on, we have the Romantic period, then we have the Victorian period, followed by the Edwardian period, then we have the Georgian period, which is followed by the modern period, and then the postmodern period. So here the answer should be first Jacobean age, which is followed by the Caroline age. After that we have the Commonwealth age, then Restoration age, and then Augustan age. Moving on to the next question. What is the chronological sequence of famous dramatists in the order of their birth? The options are William Congreve, John Dryden, William Wycherley, George Bernard Shaw, and J.M. Synge. So the answer to this question is, first we have John Dryden. He was born in the year 1631. Then we have William Wycherley. He was born in the year 1641. Then we have William Congreve. He was born in the year 1670. And then we have G.B. Shaw, who was born in the year 1856. And then we have J.M. Synge coming in the year 1871. Dryden is famous for his works like Macflecknoe, The Medal, Absalom and Achitophel, etc. William Wycherley is notable for his plays like Country Wife and The Plain Dealer. William Congreve is famous for his The Way of the World and his only tragedy, The Morning Bride. G.B. Shaw is famous for his works like Man and Superman, Pygmalion, Saint John, Arms and the Man, etc. And J.M. Synge is famous for his play, The Playboy of the Western World. Moving on to the last question of the day. What is the correct chronological order of the works of John Milton? The options are Paradise Lost, Lycidas, L'Allegro, Paradise Regained, and Comus. So the correct chronological order is, first we have is Comus 1634, then we have Lycidas coming in the year 1638, then we have L'Allegro, which is coming in the year 1645. After that we have Paradise Lost coming in the year 1667, and then we have Paradise Regained coming in the year 1671. Now let's talk about each work a little bit. First is Comus, which is coming in the year 1634. It is a masque presented at Ludlow Castle before John Egerton, 1st Earl of Bridgewater, because of the celebration of the Earl's new post as Lord President of Wales. Then we have Lycidas. It is a poem by Milton written in 1637 but published in 1638 to commemorate the death of Edward King. Then we have L'Allegro. L'Allegro is a pastoral poem by Milton published in his 1645 poems. L'Allegro means the happy man in Italian. This poem has been contrasted with Milton's other pastoral poem, Il Penseroso, which means the melancholy man. Then we have Paradise Lost, which is an epic poem written in blank verse. It was first published in 1667 and consisted of 10 books. It was published again in 1674 and then contained 12 books. The poem concerns the biblical story of the fall of man, the temptation of Adam and Eve by the fallen angel Satan, and their expulsion from the Garden of Eden. And then we have Paradise Regained, which is a poem by Milton, published in 1671. The volume in which it appeared also contained Milton's closet drama Samson Agonistes. Paradise Regained is 4 books long and comprises 2065 lines. In contrast, Paradise Lost is 12 books long and comprises 10,565 lines. I hope this chronology video will help you in your re-exam UGC NET preparation. So that's it for this video. Make notes, prepare well and work very hard. And in case if you need the PDF of this chronology, you can join our Telegram channel and you can access the PDF over there. Thank you very much. All the very best.